Hello, everyone, and welcome to this top 10 matchup between the University of Georgia and Georgia Tech Yellow Jackets. Today we have the number 2 Yellow Jackets versus Georgia as we get a save. Georgia Tech with another shot, a good save. And I promise you're not hearing voices in your head. This is probably the first time in the history of the University of Georgia Lacrosse Club that we've had commentary. We're about a minute and 20 seconds in, 0-0. And there it changes immediately as Rory Kavanaugh, the most goals on the team, scores early to put the home team Dawgs up 1-0. And a quick start for the Bulldogs. The underdogs in this game get the first goal as we'll have a false start. And the Dogs will get the ball in possession here on the face-off. Fogo man for the Dogs, Luke Wright, immediately runs off the field after doing his job. Dogs will control the ball behind the net. We have a great game here today. Of course, top 10 matchup, as I said, between number 2 and number 7. And, of course, Dogs being number 7 are the underdogs. They have not beat the Yellow Jackets in 10 years and are looking to change their luck today. The last time they beat them, as we'll get another switch here for the Dogs, as Nick Edler runs off, the Dogs will go on defense. As I was saying, Yellow Jackets have beat the Dogs in 10 straight years. Of course, I believe we had a skip game during the COVID year. Tech drives in. No one able to check or get a body on the Tech offenseman, the Tech attacker, Brooks Barrow. And now we'll have a 1-1 game. Dogs defense just failed them there. No one able to get a body. And Brooks Barrow just able to run in and I believe put it under the stick of the Georgia goalie. I believe the Georgia goalie today is Reed McCall. He's had a great couple of weeks, even winning defensive honor roll in the MCLA. Dogs force a turnover, and now they'll be on the attack. Another change. We'll have a whistle as the Dogs pass back to the goalie and look to develop something here. Tech doing a good job as they force a turnover as the pass goes wide. Like a press defense in basketball there, Tech able to force the turnover before the Dogs could even get it over halfway mark. A good pass into the slot, but a better save by Reed McCall there. As we'll have a 1-1 game 3 minutes in. Dogs looking to control the possession here. Getting subs in, waiting to set something up as they'll get it to the point man. Midfielder number 4, Nick Edler. They'll get it behind the net. Ex-attacker looking to go out in front. Runs to the crease. Nothing going inside. They'll put it back to the point. Georgia Tech with some stout defense getting bodies on Dogs players. Nick Edler will make a run but is forced out wide into the wing. They'll pass behind the net to the ex-attacker. Georgia Tech bench hype with the possession here. Shot clock coming down to 5. Shot on goal saved. Out in front by, I believe, by a defender actually for Georgia Tech, number 2, Carrington Kelsey. Now Georgia Tech will be on the attack. Full shot clock for them, down to 70 seconds now. Dawgs with a decent defensive possession here, not letting the Jackets get anywhere, except then a pass into the slot, right in the crease, and 2 shots find their way out in front, and the Dawgs get possession of the ground ball. Couple slashes from behind, and then an offsides, it looked like, from the Jackets. It was an offsides, but it looks like it may have gone uncalled. There we go. As they'll throw a flag for in the back corner there. We believe this is a delayed offsides coming up. Dawgs will take the shot. Strong block out in front. And a Jacket lays out a dog as the ball was going out of bounds. We'll have a 1-minute penalty, I believe, here for the Dawgs. It'll be a 1-minute slashing call, as the Dawgs will have the advantage now as they retain possession and have a full shot clock. Dawgs are going to look to be patient here, get the best shot, make sure to pass it all the way around, find the best quality shot while they have the penalty here. Shot from the side. Beautiful shot from the side of the net. 32, Sam Wheeler, of course, the most points on the team, has a lot of goals and a lot of assists. But there, Sam Wheeler now puts the Dawgs up 2-1 early. And we have a beautiful day here, April 1st, 2023. Whoever owns or operates the UGA Lacrosse Men's Club Twitter decided to pull an April Fool's joke this morning at 9 a.m. that got me worried. According to the Twitter, Rory Cavanaugh and Sam Wheeler were going to be out today. And, of course, they are playing, as it was an April Fool's joke. And now, early in the game, 6 minutes in, they both have a goal, as Georgia Tech will scoop up the ground ball and get working on an offensive possession. Dawgs out of position here. Able to slow it down, though, enough to get everyone back. And Georgia Tech will slow down as they get a sub. Long stick midfielder will drift back. Dawgs trying to force a turnover here in the corner. Shot goes wide. Jackets will maintain possession. Of course, on a shot, the ball goes to whoever is closest, unlike other sports. If it goes out of bounds on a pass, though, ball goes to the team that caused the turnover. This time, Yellow Jackets will maintain possession, and now off of it, find a shot. Shot from a pretty decent angle. Thought Roy McCall might get a stick on it. Instead, I believe that's Sam Eck who gets the goal. Sam Eck, of course, the most goals for the Yellow Jackets. I believe that will be his 36th on the season. We'll have a face-off here. Fogo man again for the Dawgs, Luke Wright, looking for the draw. We'll have a call for an inadvertent whistle here, which means I believe we'll have another draw here. Excuse me, for the face-off, that's Caleb Sod. Sod looking to win the face-off, get the Dawgs a possession. He forces it back, but quickly scooped up by Georgia Tech, as they'll have the offensive possession now. Their Fogo man, responsible for the face-off there. Aaron Pitzek. I apologize if that's incorrectly pronounced, but now the Yellow Jackets will have 60 seconds on the shot clock to try and get a lead in this 2-2 game. 8 minutes left in the first. Passing around, trying to find a weakness in the Dawgs defense. Good body, but he gets through and puts it in the back of the net as he's falling down. And he'll flex on the Bulldog that he made look silly. That is Brooks Barrow again. A great play. It looked like Georgia defense was set up pretty well there. And Brooks Barrow gets around it, and now the Yellow Jackets will lead 3-2. Looked like solid defense from Joseph Rose there. And he just gets it over. And now the Yellow Jackets will be up 3-2. We'll have another face-off, of course. Yellow Jackets win again. Good defense here at the halfway mark, but Yellow Jackets still able to keep it. An errant pass, though, as the Bulldogs will try and get the ground ball. Still on the ground, and the Yellow Jackets will get it. And they'll throw it behind the net and look to develop something here. We'll have a new shot clock for them. Maybe not. 55 seconds left. They do want a shot clock reset, and they'll eventually get it. The refs will talk about the shot clock not being reset, as it did look like it should have been. So now Georgia Tech will retain possession and get a full shot clock, 80 seconds here. Bad switch there from the Dawgs, but the shot goes wide. Georgia Tech will remain in possession. The crisscrossing pattern of the Yellow Jackets caught the Dawgs off guard. Had a clean shot for the Jackets, but it goes wide. They'll retain possession as they were closest with the ex-attacker behind the goal. Drive in from the Jackets. Shot goes wide again, and it will retain possession with the Yellow Jackets. Attackers for the Bulldogs just waiting for an opportunity here, standing at midfield. They have not had an opportunity here in the past about 2 minutes. Yellow Jackets with complete control. Number 2 team in the country, of course, for club lacrosse. Looked that time like the Bulldogs were actually closest to that, and yet the Yellow Jackets will retain possession. Shot clock is winding down for them about halfway through. 3-2 game here still, about 9 minutes in. Errant pass goes over the stick. We're going to have a ground ball. And Georgia Tech will retain possession, They called a trip, I believe, on the Bulldogs. Not too sure about that one. Ref was right there, though, so confident in his call. I did not see the trip, though. Interesting, as I am right there as well. However, Jackets now get a whole new shot clock as they'll go from behind the net. Good body here, but a spin and easily put in the back of the net by Alex Tarquino. Jackets bench will bark, mocking the Bulldogs after they go up 4-2 now. Looked like a good original body block from the Dawgs, but a good spin gets him right out in front, and Reed McCall left standing on his head. Couldn't do anything there as we'll have a face-off. Dawgs number 2 drifts in, Luke Wright. Now, after 2 straight goals from the Jackets, Dawgs will have possession behind the net, looking to develop something. It's early in the game, but this seems one of the more important possessions maybe of the game. Dawgs can't let the Yellow Jackets get too far ahead. After some attempts to get around the defender, looks like a pass back to the point, and we do have one. 40 seconds left on the shot clock. Good spin again. Nothing going, though. Georgia Tech Yellow Jackets so solid on the defensive side. We'll get a shot here. Beautiful shot from number 18. That's going to be Aiden Rafferty over the goalie. The starting goalie for Georgia Tech is wearing 40. I don't have that number. So we'll see if I can get a look at his jersey. But a great shot there from number 18 for Georgia, Aiden Rafferty. Ball will go out of bounds here off the faceoff, and Georgia will get it. Excuse me, we do have number 40 for Georgia Tech. The starting goalie is Owen Armitrout. Again, excuse me if that's pronounced incorrectly, as I do not have a pronunciation guide. If you are watching and related to them and you want to give me a pronunciation guide, that would be great. But now Georgia with possession here. 5 minutes left in this first period. Jackets up 4-3. A shot from Georgia goes wide, but they will retain possession with 53 seconds left on the shot clock. Starting from behind the net, looking to pass out in front. Going to try a wraparound here. Gets it in the crease. Beautiful save from the Georgia Tech Yellow Jacket. Again, that's Owen Armitrout. We'll have a reset shot clock here, though, as Georgia retains possession. That was a great pass right into the crease, right out in front. Armitrout gets his body on it. That's not an easy thing for a goalie to do. That shot, luckily, out in front doesn't come in too fast, but these goalies can face shots up to 80 miles per hour, if not higher. Tries the same thing, a little wraparound to get in the crease, but nothing going there. Errant pass, but still picked up. A shot, and it goes off Owen Armitrout's stick. Looks like he might have had it in the basket, but it just goes off, and that's going to be number 32, Sam Wheeler again. And now we have a tied game here. 3 minutes and 49 seconds left. Tied 4-4. I want to thank you all for joining the stream today as Georgia gets possession. Whether you're a Dawgs fan or a Georgia Tech fan, I believe being on the UGA Lacrosse channel will have more Georgia fans. If you could leave a like, that would be great. If you want to subscribe for more content, that would be great. But we appreciate you here today. See a lot of comments in chat. We'll try and get improvements. As Georgia drives in here, another shot. That's going to be number 23 for the Dawgs, Patrick Larkin. Patrick Larkin, the senior midfielder, not the usual goal scorer, only 4 goals on the season, beats Owen Armitrout again, and now the Dawgs are up 5-4. And the momentum has all of a sudden shifted after the Yellow Jackets went up 4-2. Now the Dawgs storm back 5-4. 3 minutes, 16 seconds left before we get a little break here. A good stick. Ooh. They will call that on the Dawgs. I thought it was a great stick. Instead, now the Jackets will get possession. Now the Jackets with a chance to build some momentum of their own as they'll look to draw something up. We actually have a huge crowd here today. We're at Mountain Park, of course, supposed to be in Athens. Instead, due to the weather, needed a turf field. Georgia Tech with a good look. Shot goes in. Number 42 for the Yellow Jackets. That's going to be Matthew Karasiki. Again, Georgia Tech responds with a great shot coming in hot, and now it'll be a 5-5 game. As I was saying, supposed to be in Athens, but the weather pushed us out when we needed a turf field, and yet Mountain Park, actually closer to Georgia Tech, even though they're the away team, is pretty much full here. We've got both bleachers on both sides pretty much full. Probably 150 people or more, as Georgia Tech will get the ball again off a ref whistle. And now they have the advantage to take the lead with time dwindling here. 2 minutes and 40 seconds left. Georgia Tech just so solid in every facet of the game. They're so technical. Bulldogs rely a little bit more on the speed and aggression. Jackins can do it just as well. But as you can see there, perfectly drawn up play. Shot just goes wide. I mean, a perfect drop off there. Georgia Tech just so technical. Dogs are going to look, as they are the underdogs here, going to look to pull out a victory of the #2 team. Good spin here, gets it back to an errant pass, actually, after it gets picked up by Georgia. Reed McCall will cover and get it to likely one of his defenders. He will. We'll have a switch here for both teams. Gotta make sure to stay on side. Don't know how much crowd noise you're picking up here. If you're on the stream, we will have an offside here for Georgia, I believe. The whistle blown. We'll see what the call is. It will be for Georgia Tech, 2 minutes. Offside. Georgia Tech, 2-6 was offsides for Georgia. That is Alex Tarquino. Oh, excuse me. Hold on, let's find out what's happening here. Two referees giving two different messages here. Okay, so Georgia will retain possession. It was an offsides on Georgia Tech, I believe, number 26, Brooks Barrow. I apologize for that. 90 seconds left here, 70 on the shot clock. Dawgs will still take a quick shot and find the back of the net. 32 again, Sam Wheeler, the freshman, of course, most points on the team, not the most goals, but now he probably does. With an excellent shot, he's really liked that position, and now the Dogs will go up 6-5. I think that's his third goal from that same spot. In hockey, we call that Ovechkin's office. And lacrosse, I'll have to come up with a W word for Wheeler. But a great shot there, and now the Dogs are up 6-5. Sam Wheeler with an excellent performance today. Great stick here from Georgia as they'll fight for the ball. Kept in by Georgia Tech, still a scrum. And now we'll have a whistle. And Georgia Tech will retain possession. Interesting here. Georgia Tech has gotten a majority of the calls after a good stick here. That was from Austin Trimble. Poked the ball free, got it out of the net while Georgia Tech was trying to carry. Georgia Tech with a shot goes off the stick of the Georgia goalie. Going to be Reed McCall, as I said earlier. He's had pretty much a defensive showcase recently. Was the defensive honor roll MCLA recently of the week. He's a senior as he gets another save there. He's a senior. His parents are always attending his games as he's really been the mic of this defense. Parents always here to support him. Somewhere in the crowd here, I assume, as Georgia will now be on the offense side. 25 seconds here. Shot clock doesn't really matter. They'll probably take it down as far as they can and get a good shot. They are holding it behind the net, looking to develop something. 15 seconds here. Georgia with a 6-5 lead. Looking to get something out in front. 10 seconds. They're going to have to take a shot. Bounce shot. Goes high. Clock will stop with 5.3 left. They get the ball in. 2 seconds. Falls down. No shot will be taken. And after the first The number 7 Dawgs, underdogs, will be up 6-5. We'll have a short break here and be right back. As we get set for the second set of 15 minutes here, my name is Joe Kopsho. I will be doing commentary for you today, as we'll have a false start by Georgia Tech, meaning Georgia gets the ball to the Fogo man usually for Georgia. Luke Wright actually dealing with a sprained thumb and still able to be highly successful on the faceoff today. Want to thank everyone for watching again, tuning in. This is my first time doing this, of course. Hope the stream looks great. I want to thank you all for watching. If you want to leave a like or any sort of support, that would be great as Georgia gets it behind the net. In the wing, a good shot just goes wide. Georgia will retain possession here as they look to get something up. Out in front, little spin move on the wing, goes in the crease, gets pushed from behind. And it will be, I believe, a cross check. Not too sure. But Georgia will get the ball back. Of course, I am normally the voice, or one of the voices of UGA hockey, the Ice Dogs. If you've ever thought about checking that out, their season's over, but we'd welcome you next season as Georgia tries to get a shot, but they'll have to move it away after a good defensive stand there from Georgia Tech. Shot does come in, but it's a grounder and bounces over the net. That was some great defense there from Georgia Tech. I believe number 36, who this time I actually do not have on the roster. It might have been 38. And if it is 38, it was Taylor Teasley. As the Dawgs falling down, that was a low percentage shot. Probably not what you're looking for, but again, Sam Wheeler is on fire today. I believe that's his 4th goal. And now, if you're hearing the crowd noise, the Dawgs are fired up. And the Dawgs will now be up 7-5. I believe that was Sam Wheeler. Georgia bench gets a warning to get back, as number 2 for Georgia will have to try and get a ground ball after a great win on the faceoff by Luke Wright. Georgia's just unable to get any sort of possession. That was a great face-off win, so clean. And I believe number 34 for Georgia, Evan Malone, or Milan, just couldn't get possession of it. Now Georgia Tech will have a chance to respond. Quick drive in, and a shot goes wide. A little story about this game. Roy Kavanaugh, the highest goal scorer for Georgia before this game, might be Sam Wheeler now. A great save here from Georgia's goalie. That's Reed McCall. Back to Roy Kavanaugh. Highest goal scorer. Now it's likely Sam Wheeler, who has the most points on the team before this game. Both freshmen. And now they face Georgia Tech's highest goal scorer and most points, Sam Eck and Pierce Quarles, who are a senior and a junior. So you have a completely different matchup of age and year here as Georgia runs through their two freshmen and Georgia Tech runs through their two elder players. Georgia with possession here, looking to develop something. Good defense again from Tech. That's really been the story of the game. Tech with some great defense as a great save there from number 40 in the goal again for Georgia Tech, Owen Armentrout. Georgia Tech's played some great defense, but Georgia just with some great shots, able to break the defense down. And we'll have a flag here, I believe, for a slash. So now Georgia's going to regroup here with about 40 seconds left on the shot clock. Excuse me, 60 seconds left on the shot clock. They'll have a huge time here to draw something up. And Wheeler will get it behind the net, trying to look to the crease, was Rory Kavanaugh. Kavanaugh now behind the net. And an amazing wraparound shot from Kavanaugh from behind the net. Shoots, weak side, and gets it beyond Armentrout. Rory Kavanaugh with a great goal. And I believe out of the 8 goals the Bulldogs have now, 6 of them have been attributed to their top point scorers. That might not have been Kavanaugh, actually. Hard to see the numbers from here. Ryan Allman getting a lot of credit for that as well. So one of them, I would assume, gets credit for that. I apologize. Now, the face-offs between the attackers and their age is not the only thing that really is age difference, as Georgia will scoop up the face-off and push immediately. Long stick midfielder here pushing, and with a shot immediately, and a great save from Armentrout. Now, the age difference between the attackers is not the only thing. The age difference and kind of career of the coaches is completely different. Holland Axley, of course, the coach for the Bulldogs, in his second full season, started last season 6-8. Now, of course, 9-1 and ranked number 7, and giving the Georgia Tech Yellow Jackets number 2 a fight. And then on the other end for the Yellow Jackets, we have Ken Lovich. He came in 2009, had a losing season in 2009, and has not had a losing season since then. So you have an extremely senior coach and then a former player in Holland Axley who has done an amazing job of turning this program around, excuse me. Good defensive possession here as Georgia Tech was trying to kill their own penalty, and now they are even. So Georgia Tech was going slow there because they had a man commit a penalty, and now they're full strength. The shot with 15 seconds on the shot clock goes wide. And now they'll say 12 seconds on the shot clock. Georgia Tech will have to hurry. Georgia bench getting loud. Good defense here from Georgia. No shots open. Good body. Out in front. 4, 3, 2, 1. Shot goes wide, and they're going to call that a violation of the shot clock. They're still letting them play, but here we go. Georgia. Oh, big check. Georgia gets possession, and he runs through it. He's getting stick checked, body checked, and he runs all the way through it and gets it down for an attack. And they will give him some love. That was big number 28, Quinn Kavanaugh. Quinn Kavanaugh played that perfectly, got it all the way down for a possession for Georgia's attackers. They'll get it behind the net. Ex-attacker getting it around, trying to find the best quality of shot, just passing. Of course, here up 8-5. Just want to look for the highest quality opportunity. No need to force anything. Ooh, a good fake shot pass, but teammate Bulldog just wasn't expecting it. As that ball will go out of bounds, Georgia Tech with an errant pass, and Georgia will get possession again. Georgia Tech with the possession here. Shot, great save by Reed McCall. For those asking in chat, this is men's club lacrosse, but this is as close as you can get to high-level lacrosse, as these players are, of course, a part of the number 2 team in the Georgia Tech Yellow Jackets and number 7 team in the Georgia Bulldogs. This is high-quality lacrosse, and you've seen it early with how crisp the playing has been. If I had to give an analysis so far, I think Georgia Tech has played well. They've played their game. And an amazing move around the defender here. I believe that's number 0 again, Rory Kavanaugh. And I was about to say Georgia Tech's been solid, as they will allow the goal, saying he wasn't in the crease. Georgia Tech's played well, but Georgia has just used their physicality and speed to their advantage. And they now go up by 4, 9-5. Georgia will get another bench warning to get back, as we'll have a face-off, of course, one after every goal. And Georgia wins it cleanly again, this time actually picked up, this time by Jacob Peach, who immediately goes on the offensive and will drift out to get a change. Midfielders will change. Of course, they're allowed to play on both sides of the field. They run the most. They need to change often. Both teams with a deep bench, though, with their midfielders. So they love to change and keep fresh legs out there. Georgia looking to develop something here. Gets a good, clean shot. It'll go, I believe, wide and high. That was an open opportunity, I believe, for number 18, Aiden Rafferty. Really was able to wind up and get a fast shot out, but just missed wide. Georgia looking to cook out in front, and oh my goodness. Ryan Almond with the dun-a-nun. That's a SportsCenter top 10 as he loses his stick, jumps in the air, and throws a ground ball, and I believe that goes between the feet of Armentrout as he's 5-holed, I think. Ryan Almond, affectionately called Ramen, with a great goal. I apologize if you can hear the background. Georgia bench very hyped, as now they'll lead 10-5. I apologize that the score is a little bit off the scoreboard there. I'm unable to fix it right now. But the Bulldogs do lead 10-5 as Georgia Tech gets their first offensive possession in a while. It's been all Dogs. And they'll immediately turn it over. And the Dogs will push upfield as quickly as possible. And it looks like a trip there, not called. But the Bulldogs will try and retain possession, There'll be a ground ball fight, but the Bulldogs do come up with it. Wraparound opportunity, decides not to take it. Will settle the ball, but a dropped pass, and now Georgia Tech will likely get the ball. They do. This has been a big momentum boost for the Dogs. Of course, we started this 15 minutes with a 6-5 game, and it is now 10-5 with 6 minutes left. Georgia Tech with a long pass, and it goes out of bounds. Exactly the opposite of what they wanted. They need something to build momentum, and they just can't find it. McCall's going to come all the way out here to midfield, finally get it to someone. Good job by Reed there. Bad turnover. Could have been an easy point for the Yellow Jackets. I again apologize for the scoreboard. I cannot fix it right now. But it is, of course, still 10-5 with 5 minutes and 30 seconds left. Shot! Great save from the Georgia Tech goalie there as he'll make a pass, a long pass, and now it'll be fought for as it just extended over the head of the Yellow Jackets, and then maybe a trip, but not called, and Georgia Tech will get the ball. A great save there from Georgia Tech, able to get his basket on it and cover the ball. Georgia Tech going to go slow here. They just need a quality opportunity here. It has pretty much been 10 minutes now with 5 minutes remaining of absolutely no offensive production. They're going to look for the best shot, and they get one. And that will be number 13 for Georgia Tech. Asher Wagnon gets it by Reed McCall, and now it will be 10-6. All right, face off here as the scoreboard's finally fixed. And another win here for the Dogs. Again, of course, the main Fogo man for the Dogs, Luke Wright. Again, with a sprained thumb, I believe. Absolutely winning pretty much every face-off he sees. I said that while he walked right in front of me, and he said, yeah. So, tough man there to be able to get a face-off with a sprained thumb and have a pretty good record so far, not counting, but probably winning around 75% of the face-offs he's been a part of. Dogs will look to develop slowly. What they don't want to do is let Georgia Tech get the momentum back. They've had it all the past pretty much 10 minutes, with 4 minutes now remaining. If they can get another goal and get the momentum back, which they do! A good shot here. Can't see the number just yet. But a great shot, great passing around. Maybe Kevin Nyquist with a great shot there for the Dogs. Yeah, it will be Quill as he gets a great shot off a great pass, and now the Dogs are up 11-6. Hold on, actually. Head coach talking to his team, getting a good message across of trying to tire out Georgia Tech. Reed McCall picks up the ball and tries to get it downfield. It looked like a good pass and just not being able to pick it up. Now Georgia Tech with a stretch pass, and Reed will get it again, and he is running down the field. He needs to get it out so he can get back, and he does. And Georgia will pick it up. Although a good stick from Georgia Tech puts it back on the ground, but again, gathered by number 28, Quinn Cavanaugh. And now Georgia will take this possession slow as they'll get a switch. And we'll get a timeout here for the Dogs. So we'll take a quick break here. Dogs will be up 11-6 in the second quarter. 3 minutes and 19 seconds left. and the Dogs will have possession when we come back. So Dogs will have possession here, of course, in this top 10 men's club lacrosse matchup. Of course, these teams are clubs, so they won't play any D1 teams such as Duke, although that might be a fun matchup. And, of course, each team getting 3 timeouts, I believe. So Dogs will be down to 2 as we are starting here. Dogs are just going to look for the best shot here, of course, being up 5. They're going to want to go into half up 5, so they're going to just try and maintain this lead. A bounce shot goes over the net. So Dogs will retain possession as number 17 for UGA, Eli Morin, was the closest player, and he'll take it in. Morin with the ball behind the net, looking to work out in front. Half spin, gets it out in front in the crease. A decent pass, but unable to work anything off of it. Dogs will take it back out. 25 seconds on the shot clock. They'll look to develop something here. A rush in. They'll pass back out, get it to the point, and look to develop something. 15 seconds now. They got to go. Still playing a little too soft. They're going to need to get something off here. Get it to Roy Kavanaugh, their best shooter, and he can't get anything. Now 4 seconds left. He'll have to take a shot. And it's a bad bounce shot, goes way over. So that will be now Georgia Tech ball, as we'll get subs. It'll be a shot clock. And now Georgia Tech is going to try and cut this lead down before half. Of course, likely unable to get it tied with only 2 minutes remaining. Be extremely difficult. But they will try and cut it down so that they can give themselves a chance in this second half. Georgia Tech will take it slow, get subs out there. Different midfielders to give them a different look and some fresh legs. Georgia Tech with a quick rush. They'll get it in the crease, but the pass goes off a stick, and now Georgia will have possession again. If I'm Georgia, I'm going to slow down here, get it across, and then just take care of the ball. Although Georgia Tech not setting anything up defensively. They are going to take care of the ball, though. It looks like Georgia Tech was actually begging them to shoot. That was Anthony Tiberia, excuse me if that's mispronounced, of course, bringing the ball all the way up. Georgia Tech didn't even put a body on him, but Georgia, I think, makes the smart play and is just looking to drain clock here, going to half up big. Although they'll get an open look here right out in front, and a great save from Armentrout, and he's able to cover and get it out. He'll look for a defender. He gets it to one. Wheeler's going to be on the press, try and keep Georgia Tech on their own side, unable to. This is the long stick midfielder will fight for the ball that Georgia poked out, and it looks like Wheeler will get possession, but then tripped up. And it will be Georgia Tech ball as Wheeler lost it out of bounds. We have a big Georgia Tech crowd here. Of course, only about 30 minutes away from Tech. The fans haven't had much to cheer about in this quarter, but there they get something. As Georgia Tech will have 40 seconds. Shot clock doesn't matter right now. A good stick from Georgia, and Georgia will get the ball again. But there'll be a call from the referee, and they'll give the ball back to Georgia Tech. The shot clock will be reset. 34 seconds on the total clock, though. So shot clock doesn't really account for anything. Drive in here from Georgia Tech. He's got his left hand open, but the shot goes wide. Georgia Tech closest will retain possession and get it going as quickly as possible. 23 seconds left. Georgia gets the ball immediately off the inbound, though. Georgia Tech with a good forced turnover. There'll be a ground ball, but Georgia comes up with it. And they're just going to look to kill off the last 10 seconds here. They're going to try and get a shot. 7, 6, 5, shot. Blocked out in front, unable to get possession of the ball was number 34, Evan Malone. And now Georgia Tech with a strong defensive stand there, but a horrible quarter as the Dogs look amazing. The number 7 team bringing it to the number 2 overall team, 11-6. The Bulldogs go into half up big. I just had some of the best commentating of my life, and I apologize as we were muted. So, of course, just a little recap of what happened. As Georgia Tech looks to get a pass behind the net, they will. Bulldogs scored, then had a goal waved off in what was a great argument from the Georgia bench. Drive from Georgia Tech gets out in front, picked up and scored from Georgia Tech. Georgia bench is extremely upset now because, of course, that goal was taken away, and then they thought they had an offsides that was then called back, and I believe the goal scorer will be Pierce Quales. Again, I apologize we were muted there, but the score will now be 12-7. A little around the world there from Georgia Tech, and then picked up and scored. Georgia bench is extremely frustrated. They had a goal waved off, and then what seemed to be an offsides waved off. So, as we'll have a false start again on Georgia Tech, meaning Georgia wins the face-off and gets the possession here. Again, apologies for being muted. I think I might be more hurt than you are, because I think I called some great plays there, and unfortunately they'll be lost to history. But now Georgia will have possession of the ball, and they'll get it out to the point and look to draw something up. Not risking anything here, ground pass. Back up to the winger. He'll drive in. He's got a good momentum going here, but sticked away and turns the ball over. Now they're going to try and trap, but they can't. And a big check. Georgia Tech somehow able to keep the ball in bounds, but Georgia will scoop it up. That was a huge check from Riley Walker. Able to poke the ball free after a turnover from Georgia, and Georgia gets it right back behind the net. We're about 4 minutes and 30 seconds in here. One goal for each side. Georgia looking to put something on the board here after they thought they should have 13. And they remain at 12. Georgia driving in here, looking for a kick out, finds it. Big shot. Goal! Off the post! I believe that's big number 18, Aiden Rafferty. In hockey, we call that a slap shot from the point. Big wind up there from Rafferty, finds the post and goes in. Beautiful shot. Now the Dogs will be up 13-7. We want to thank you again for coming to the UGA Lacrosse channel, where we will attempt to stream the rest of the season for the UGA Men's Lacrosse Club. Georgia Tech with possession here, gets it behind the net. A good shot, but goes wide, and now there'll be a little bit of a scramble for the ball. Both teams fighting for it, and they'll call a shot clock reset and give it to Georgia Tech. Again, if you're enjoying the stream, any love for the stream, such as like, subscribing, would be so helpful to growing the channel. Of course, this is my first time on the channel. I have tried to facilitate getting the streams up when I have not been able to be here, but this is the first time me working on it all alone. Georgia Tech out in front, unable to get a shot. Back to the point, shot. Goes in off the ground. Reed McCall looked like he had a read on it. Instead, number 42 for Georgia Tech, that's going to be Matthew Krasicki, is able to bounce it right over the stick of Reed McCall. McCall's going to want that one back. That's something he usually gets to. The shot was wide open, but McCall had a good look at it, and it just goes above his stick, and now we'll have a 13-8 game. Off the face-off, Georgia player loses his stick as they'll scramble for the ball, and Georgia will pick it up. and try and get something going. Sprinting down the field, they'll get it to their main attacker out in front. Good look. Shot. Scored. Number 22 with the long stick. That's going to be Walker Goodsight. Not something you normally see from him, as he has 1 goal on the season, and he'll add his second. Walker Goodsight just immediately rushing in with the long stick and able to get that shot in the top corner of the net. And now the Dogs will lead 14-8. Georgia wins the face-off again. They're going to slow it down now, though. Back, actually, with their largest lead of the game, 6-goal lead. A bounce shot goes way over. Georgia will have to fight for possession. They will get it. Georgia had a lead of 5 at half, and now have a lead at 6, extending the lead. Again, this is a top 10 men's club lacrosse matchup. Number 2, Georgia Tech Yellow Jackets, currently losing by 6 to the number 7 Bulldogs. Now, they're both 9-1 on the season, as Georgia will look. Shot, decides to step around and take the shot, but it goes high, and Georgia will regroup. Of course, both these teams 9-1. Georgia will retain possession with 30 seconds on the shot clock. Georgia Tech's only loss this season was to Liberty, who is now the number 1 team. That was on March 11th, so not too long ago. And the Dogs' only loss came on February 5th, a long time ago now, to number 4 Florida. So these teams have been great. Shot from the point. Goes wide again. Georgia will get the ball back, but now with only 15 seconds on the shot clock. So both these teams have been highly competitive all year, beating other ranked teams. Georgia Tech's only loss is to the best team in the country, as currently ranked, Wheeler off the post. They should get another shot clock reset now since it hit the post, and they will. So now Georgia has 80 seconds to work with. Actually, a great job by Sam Wheeler. Couldn't score, but gets a shot clock reset. So both these teams have been great all season. Top 10 matchup. You have to wonder how this game will affect the rankings and how these teams will eventually go into nationals. Both have a couple games left. Shot from the point. Great save. Of course, we have a different goalie in net now. We wonder if the injury may have impacted that decision when Armitrout was taken out. We now have number 36 in goal for Georgia Tech. So a shot here, finds the back of the net. He goes up high. That is big number 0, Rory Kavanaugh, who gets it over the new goalie, number 36, I believe JoJo Banks. And now the Dogs will be up 15-8. Great job there from Roy Kavanaugh. Goes up high over the defender and able to get the shot in. Of course, the new goalie for Georgia Tech, who wins the faceoff. New goalie for Georgia Tech, not as big as their previous goalie, so that can cause some problems. That time, maybe the size allowed Georgia to convert. Now Georgia Tech with possession, down 7. They're going to need to start working here with only 6 minutes and 30 seconds left in the quarter. Of course, one more quarter after this, but with about 21 minutes left in total, Georgia Tech is going to have to get going. They'll get a pass out in front, and a great save from McCall. After a great pass into the crease, the shot was taken by number 47, Joseph Rose, and McCall just gets his body on it after he kneels and forces it to the side. Georgia with a good defensive possession here, not allowing anything inside. And now have to take it back out. Crossfield pass. Doesn't find his man, but he's able to pick it up. Georgia Tech with a drive again. Got to get a body on him if you're the Dogs. And instead, Georgia Tech pretty much passes it to Reed McCall. That was Sam Eck with no power on that shot. 24 for Georgia with a great move there. Gets around his defender. 24, of course, is Jacob Peach. Now Georgia on the offensive shot. Scores! Is that Rory Kavanaugh again? With the side shot, Rory Kavanaugh now puts the Dogs up 8 as the Dogs will scream towards the Tech bench. What happened? These teams do not, of course, like each other. Big rivals in every sport. Georgia jawing at the Georgia Tech bench, asking if they wanted them to drop a 30 on their heads. I think Georgia Tech would respond no. But in order to respond, you kind of have to do that on the field. And instead, Georgia Tech immediately commits a turnover. Dogs are up 8 as they'll go on the attack here. This is a good old-fashioned hate game. These teams are 2 hours apart maximum, and they are rivals in every sport. As Georgia Tech will get possession and try and get it upfield. Good checks here from Georgia, makes the Georgia Tech player turn around, and they commit a turnover right in front of the net. Sam Wheeler with the goal. Horrible turnover from Georgia Tech, pretty much a straight-up pass to Sam Wheeler. Goalie out of position, and Sam Wheeler, that might have been the easiest shot in his whole career. No one out in front, and now the Dogs are up 17-8. A 9-point lead for the underdogs coming into this game. And they'll win the face-off. But now we'll have a ground ball. Georgia will look to pick it up and be an immediate attack as they have the odd number rush. Shot goes high, though. They will be closest to the ball and get possession again. Up 9. The Georgia Bulldogs are not slowing down at all. Again, a good old-fashioned hate game. If Georgia could put up 50 on the Yellow Jackets, they'd try to. So Georgia will keep pushing here despite the big lead. 4 minutes and 50 seconds left in the quarter. Then we'll have one more 15-minute period unless we get overtime. If we get overtime, Georgia Tech needs to turn it on now. Rory Kavanaugh behind the net, going to try a wraparound, gets it out in front. No body on him. He gets it out in front of the net. Ball still loose, but Georgia Tech will pick it up. That was a decent shot, but a good save. As I believe we have another goalie change for Georgia Tech as the Georgia Tech player loses a tire and his helmet. We'll have Peter, oh, that's not a name that they should give us without a pronunciation guide. We'll have Peter Zagroberti, I believe, as we'll have a pause and play here. We'll have a 30-second foul here. So a new goalie again for Georgia Tech. Peter Zagroblini, Blaney, something. I'm going to apologize again, of course. And now, after a good save from Reed McCall, Georgia will have to form up and try and stop a Georgia Tech goal as they attack. Of course, the penalty being on Georgia, so Georgia a man down. Shot in the net for number 42 for Georgia Tech. Great shot. Big armed shot from Matthew Krasicki. And now it will be 17-9 as the Yellow Jackets approach double digits with 4 minutes left in the quarter. (17-9) here. Georgia with 2 games after this, of course. Those are going to be next weekend, weather permitting, both in Athens. I will hopefully be back on the call for those again as they'll tune up for nationals. Georgia with possession behind the net. Wheeler's going to look out in front. Half spin, half spin again, and just retain possession behind the net. They'll look to get it out in front. They do, and they'll take their time with the ground pass to keep it under control. Just moving it around near the 40 of the football field, of course. And they'll look to develop something here. A rush. Good bodies from Georgia Tech here. Georgia now with 40 seconds on the shot clock and 3 minutes left in the quarter. Georgia passing it around, looking for anything. Good defensive possession here from Georgia Tech, but it takes one breakdown. Although they do a great job. It looks like that ball might have rolled in, but the goalie for Georgia Tech does get a save on it again, Peter, with a good save. And now Georgia Tech immediately coming in and fires wide, and Georgia Tech will get possession. We'll have switches here from both teams. Georgia Tech going in, back out, and a turnover here. If Georgia can get to it, it should be an over and back. Okay, so the penalty or the call there is an over and back as the errant pass led the ball to go back over midfield, and now Georgia will have the ball with 2 minutes left, 75 seconds on the shot clock. Looked like a trip out in front, but Georgia Tech will get the ball. They'll go long with it. That could create a turnover if Georgia can get it. There will be a ground ball. Georgia Tech still. Georgia Tech will get possession after that. I believe they'll call that an interference and give Georgia Tech the ball. And now they'll look to set up. Number 4 for Georgia Tech driving in. Good body on him. Number 4, of course, Pierce Quarles. He gets it back out. And they'll look to do something here. Okay. A minute and 35 left. Georgia Tech, of course, down 8. They're going to need this, a goal on this possession, to get anywhere in the next quarter. And that shot goes wide and hits a fan in the face. Hopefully he's all right. He looks like he took it like a champ as that shot was fired wide into the crowd. And we'll have 80 seconds left here. Georgia Tech really needs something here if they want a chance in the fourth quarter. Georgia, of course, doesn't want to allow anything, as we'll have a stick to the face on Georgia and a good save by Reed McCall. But Georgia Tech should get the ball back after that penalty. Was behind him and just wrapped around. That will be number 18 for Georgia. Aiden Rafferty was behind him and just tried to wrap around and get him and caught him in the face mask. So Georgia Tech should retain possession here. It will be a slash at the helmet. It'll be 2 minutes. It's usually a 1 minute for a slash. We'll have the ref come over here. Since the contact was to the helmet on the slash, it will be a 2 minute. So now Georgia Tech with a big advantage here as we have 70 seconds left. If I'm Georgia, I'm looking to get the possession here and just kill the rest of the time so that you can get your extra man back in. An errant pass for Georgia Tech will roll all the way back, and they'll have to regroup. 48 seconds left. Shot clock doesn't really matter. Unless they keep possession, then, of course, shot clock does not reset across quarters. Georgia Tech moving it around. Got a shot. Goes high. And Georgia's closest to it, so they'll get possession. Smart play from Georgia there. That was number 42 who immediately ran after it. Reed McCall, the goalie, immediately ran after it to try and be nearest to it, and he did it successfully. Now Georgia will move it up, and they will turn it over. Not what they wanted. 21 seconds left. Georgia just wanted to get it over the halfway point so that they could kill the rest of the time on the penalty. They could not. 15 seconds left on the clock for Georgia Tech. Shot goes off the post. And since it was a shot and goes out of bounds, whoever's closest to it gets the ball. The refs will determine that Georgia got it. And now Georgia will hold the ball to go into the fourth quarter. Up 9, 17-9. Excuse me, up 8, 17-9. Georgia will head into the fourth quarter up big on the number 2 men's club lacrosse team in the country. Number 7, Georgia Bulldogs, up 17-9. Welcome back to the fourth quarter of action. Just a recap of that last period. We went into half, I believe, 11-6. Now it's 17-9. So Georgia adds on 6. The Yellow Jackets only add up 3. Now Georgia should start this quarter. Georgia should start this quarter with possession as they ended it. Ended the third quarter, excuse me, with possession. 68 seconds as the shot clock does not reset in between quarters. However, Georgia's still trying to kill off a penalty that will last about 45 minutes, or 45 seconds, excuse me, longer. We're waiting for the referee's whistle as they give Georgia another, as the refs give Georgia another warning to the bench to stay where they need to stay and not affect the field of play. Long pass here from Georgia. That was something. Will they call that a shot? No, they will give Georgia Tech the ball. That might have been worth 3 points, as I believe it went through the field goal post. Not sure what Georgia was looking for there on the stretch pass, but now Georgia Tech will have the ball. If I was Georgia there, I would have tried to kill out the rest of the penalty. They have 25 seconds left on the penalty. Georgia Tech will try and hurry and convert on it, although they are just moving it around slowly. About 10 seconds left on penalty. Georgia Tech not rushing at all. They should be trying to take advantage of this. They get a pass into the crease, but some good defense from Georgia, as we'll get a whistle. They will say that a Georgia Tech Yellow Jacket drifted into the crease. Can't get into that goalie's crease, and so Georgia Bulldogs will get possession until they immediately turn it over on a stretch pass from Reed McCall. Georgia Tech looking for a shot here, drives in. Good 2 bodies, pushes them out. Georgia Tech looking to drive again. 2 bodies again there. A flag down on the field. The referees have a delayed penalty here as Georgia will head right back. I am, of course, the UGA lacrosse broadcaster right now, but it seems like Number 7 for Georgia, Aiden Williams, called for a slash. It'll be 1 minute. I am, of course, the UGA lacrosse broadcaster, but it seems like a disproportionate amount of penalties have been called on the Bulldogs. That could be attributed to their play style. They're fast and aggressive, while Georgia Tech's a little bit more technical. But I'm not even sure we've had a Georgia Tech penalty this game. Well, the Dogs have had multiple. Dogs will look to defend here. Georgia Tech not looking for any long shots here, trying to get it up close and get this lead down to 7. Georgia Tech retains possession. No one on Sam Eck. He's going to have a wide open shot, and he misses. Sam Eck, number 30, of course, the senior with the most goals on their team. No defender in front of him, and still couldn't find the net. So Georgia Tech, being closest to the ball, will retain possession with 50 seconds on the shot clock. Sam Eck again, shot, bottom post. Goes in off the post, Sam Eck. No celebration from Georgia Tech, as they know they're in the thick of it, now down 17-10, but Sam Eck with a great goal there. Face off. Georgia's been successful on the face-off so far. This one will be scooped up by Georgia Tech. Almost an errant pass from the Yellow Jackets, but they retain control of the ball. Georgia with a quick switch here. We'll get a midfielder in, and Georgia Tech immediately turns over the ball. Now the man that came in, number 40 for UGA, Stephen Erb, will try and get something going. He does get them on the attack, but no more than that, as they will slow the game down. With only 12 minutes and 30 seconds left, Georgia, while they're always aggressive, will try and slow it down, put points on the board while killing some of the clock. And there is another goal from the Bulldogs as they extend their lead back to 8, up 18-10 now. Georgia screams at Georgia Tech, "Are you running out of goalies?" as they've had 3 switches, I believe. And Georgia will regroup, up 18-10. Georgia trying for the face-off, but it will be scooped up by Tech, but then immediately lost, as we'll have a ground ball here and another penalty. And they'll call a hold, I believe, here on Georgia. So Georgia Tech will get possession of the ball. Another call going in favor of Georgia Tech as they're on the attack, an immediate rush. And they'll call another flag here as the flag goes flying. Shot high, out of bounds. Georgia Tech will, of course, retain possession. And Georgia will have a penalty here as it gets relayed between the referees. It's going to be a 30-second technical foul on Georgia, number 20, Austin Trimble. The Bulldogs are extremely frustrated with the penalties they've committed. Now Georgia Tech has 30 seconds here to operate where they'll have a bigger opportunity than normal. Sam Eck passing to his point man, gets a shot, goes wide. Georgia Tech gets the ball in. 10 seconds on the penalty. Georgia Tech moving the ball around. Shot goes to a pass instead. Good D here. Penalty is up as McCall will fight for the ball, and he gets it. Now he's got a man on him, but he chukes his man. Don't see that too much from a goalie as he gets his man to fall on the ground. We've talked about how great Reed McCall has been all season, and he's doing again. Shot, goal! Reed McCall's defense turns into immediate offense for the Bulldogs. That's going to be Sam Wheeler again with the quick wrist shot and gets it by the goalie. And Georgia Tech is flustered as now they go down 19-10. Great job there from Georgia, turning in good defense directly into good offense. Great job here from the Bulldogs. As with 11 minutes left, they're just looking to close out, and a face-off win will help that. Although mishandled, has to make sure he doesn't go over, and he does a good job. After losing possession, he retains it after a little bit of a struggle, doesn't go out of bounds, and doesn't go over and back. So now Georgia will have 60 seconds on their shot clock to try and get a double-digit lead here and break the 20 mark. They get a pass inside, but it's broken up by Georgia Tech. And we'll have a shot clock reset as Georgia Tech gets clean possession. Some midfielders come on for Georgia. Fresh legs as they do stop the rush. And now Georgia Tech will have to set up. Georgia Tech with a good rush there and finds the back of the net. No defense there from the Bulldogs. And that goal is going to be for number 7, Matthew Seifert. Just no bodies were put on Matthew Seifert, and he just walks in and puts it by Reed McCall. If Georgia wants to maintain this now 8-goal lead, they're going to have to play a little bit better defense than that. Off the face-off win, Georgia Tech scores again. And now it will be 19-12. A face-off win and then an immediate goal. With 9 minutes and 43 seconds, Georgia Tech is looking to storm back, only down 7. Georgia on the face-off again. They've lost the last 2, I believe, so looking to change their luck here. Ball will go up in the air, and Georgia will get possession, as no Yellow Jackets saw it. But number 24 for Georgia, Jacob Peach, did. A turnover, though, for Georgia gives Georgia Tech another chance. You can't be doing that up 7. You have to take good care of the ball. Now an immediate rush and an outlet pass can't find its target. And White will take the ball, so the Dogs will have control of the ball again as Georgia Tech turns it over. Georgia Tech and Georgia fighting for the ball. The bench for Georgia arguing that they had one possession. Looks like Georgia will have possession here. For Georgia Tech, Carrington Kelsey with the penalty. So Georgia will have an opportunity here to get some momentum back after the Yellow Jackets have started to storm back, still down 7, but playing much better than they were before. Shot here from the wing goes wide, and it'll find its way in the crowd, but Georgia, being closest, will get possession of the ball again. Georgia looking for a high-quality opportunity, but a good stick from Georgia Tech causes a scramble for the ball. Georgia will keep the ball. However, we're back to even as the Georgia Tech penalty time ends. So back to even. Georgia now going to have to work a little bit harder, but with their main scorer, Rory has it right now, Kavanaugh. He passes it behind the net, looking for anything out in front. Is, I believe, Wheeler. He does find someone. No shot available, but a backhanded shot goes wide. Little backhanded wraparound there from number 16, Riley Walker. Doesn't find anything in the net, but Georgia will keep possession as the shot clock winds down here. 15 seconds left. Shot goes off the post, and the Georgia Tech goalie will be the first to it. And now Georgia Tech looking to get back in this game. They'll need a goal a minute. But a good stick here from Georgia. Better stick from Georgia Tech as he regains possession. Another good stick from Georgia. That was excellent stick checks from both sides, but Georgia comes away with it. They'll look to set something up. Want to go slow here if I had to guess. Take some time off the clock. 7 minutes and 15 seconds left. Georgia will slow it down. So 7 minutes left. Georgia Tech down 19-12. They'll need a goal a minute and have to stop Georgia, something that is frankly really challenging to do, especially if Georgia can add on here. An errant pass, though, kicks the ball out of bounds, and Georgia Tech will get possession with a full shot clock. Georgia Tech gets possession as they'll look for their attackers. They'll drop it back. Coach yelling at the players to swing the ball, but nowhere to go to now. So Georgia Tech will hold it. Time is not on their side. I'm interested they're not rushing as quickly as possible. Although they're looking for something here. They'll find it, but it goes wide. Good try by Reed McCall again to be closest to the ball as there was no ex-attacker behind the net. We're waiting on a ref signal here as the refs are disagreeing, it looks like. And now we'll have a whistle. And they will give that effort to Reed McCall. So Reed McCall immediately leaves the goal as that shot goes wide to try and be nearest the ball. And they say he, in fact, was, so it will be Georgia ball. Georgia Tech extremely frustrated with that call as they need every offensive possession they can get. And it's getting loud here if you can hear. And between the benches, everyone is screaming. Georgia with a long shot as the goalie was out of position. But goalie makes it back in time for Georgia Tech, and now Georgia Tech will be on the attack. Georgia trying to stop the ball, but a shot finds the back of the net for Georgia Tech. That'll be number 4. Of course, Pierce Quarles, who we've called multiple times this game. He now makes it 19-13, and I believe that's 3 unanswered goals for Georgia Tech as they look to close the gap. 6 minutes left, down 6. Face off here. Georgia Tech wins it cleanly. Great face off there from number 11, Connor Morin. Morin, being the Fogo man just there for the face-off, will run off as Georgia Tech will look to be on the attack. If they can score quickly here, This game is all of a sudden becoming a great contest, something that looked like the Dawgs would win comfortably. Now the Jackets putting the pressure on. Good shot there, but a better save from Reed McCall as he gets a great stick on it. Was in perfect position, tracked it all the way, and was able to see it into his basket. And now Georgia, making a stretch pass, will be on the attack. The ball will be scrambled for here, but Georgia picks it up. Georgia just needs to be careful with the ball now. Georgia Tech trapping at every opportunity they can, trying to force a turnover. And we'll get a timeout for Georgia. So when we come back, Georgia will have possession. 4 minutes and 56 seconds left in game time, 50 seconds on the shot clock. We'll see you back shortly. Four minutes and 56 seconds left here, of course. If I'm Georgia Tech, I'm trying to double every player that gets the ball. When it is, of course, a good opportunity. They're going to try and force a turnover as quickly as possible because they need offensive possessions if they want to come back in this game down 6 with only 5 minutes left. And if I'm Georgia, I'm going to keep the ball moving as fast as possible with quick, short passes that are easily completed. Sam Wheeler will start with the ball, of course. Has, I believe, the most assists on the team. A good man to take care of this ball here. As Georgia Tech will try and get bodies on everyone and force turnovers. Sam not doubled yet. Sam Wheeler not doubled. But a bad pass from him, and it looks like a penalty, and they will call it. Georgia Tech has to be aggressive there. But he goes through the body of the Georgia player, so Georgia will retain possession. Of course, Georgia Tech has to be aggressive, but just a little too aggressive there as he goes through the body. The Tech bench will argue he actually caught the ball, therefore no penalty. Instead, Georgia will get the ball, and they'll just look to keep it as they did get a new shot clock, so 60 seconds left on that. This is great safe passing, just running back and forth, doing some drop passes, making sure that there's no turnovers and they're keeping possession. I really like what I'm seeing from the Bulldogs right now, as they are pretty much just now looking to put one more on the board and kill the clock. They're going to just hold the ball if Georgia Tech doesn't force anything on them. Now Wheeler going in, looking for a pass. Smart pass behind the net, as they'll just keep possession. A wraparound opportunity here, goes back out of the point. Wide open, Rory Kavanaugh with a bounce shot, goes just wide. But Georgia will be close. Ooh, Georgia will not be closest to it, apparently, as they give it to Tech. I am unsure about that call, as it looked like Sam Wheeler was closest to it by far. Instead, Georgia Tech will get an offensive possession, which they desperately need. And then they throw a bounce pass that was almost turned over. Now Sam Eck with a shot blocked by Roy McCall, and another block by Roy McCall. That might be play of the game. Gets down on his knee, body blocks the first one. Eck picks up the ball again and then hits the basket of McCall. Great plays there as Georgia Tech, winding down with 3 minutes and 15 seconds left, takes another shot. This one goes wide. And McCall with a great play again to run towards the ball. Will get possession for the Dawgs. 3 minutes and 10 seconds left here. Dawgs are up 19-13 with a full 80-second shot clock. All they have to do is really keep possession here. No bad turnovers. Rory McCall not in goal at all, as they'll just try and move it up the field slowly and keep possession. McCall actually chucks it at the net and tries to score a goalie goal. And they will call it a shot and give it, oh, they won't call it a shot, and they'll give it to Georgia Tech. So Georgia staying aggressive, saw Georgia Tech's goalie out of position, and McCall tried to score a goalie goal, but it goes wide and Georgia Tech gets possession again. 2 minutes and 45 seconds left. Still down 6 are the Yellow Jackets. Georgia Tech getting aggressive here as a misplayed pass gives Georgia possession again. And now all they have to do is really kill this clock. As the Georgia Tech crowd and bench has died down, realizing this is almost an impossible comeback, with the Dawgs looking to knock off the #2 team in the country. Georgia taking clean possession of the ball, being very careful with it. I would be surprised if they take a shot here with more than 10 seconds left on the shot clock. 50 seconds left on the shot clock. I really don't think we'll see a shot in the next 40 seconds. A bad turnover there by the Dawgs. Just not a smart play. As Georgia Tech will get possession. That was Aiden Rafferty with the turnover as he tried to drive. Should have just kept it deep and made smart passes to keep the ball safe. Instead, Georgia Tech has the ball, 75 seconds left, looking to rush. Of course, down 6. They'll need a miracle here. And quick shots, of which Georgia defense is not letting them get any. Good bodies here by the Dawgs. A shot will be taken, but it goes off the post. McCall's best friend there. Ball goes off the post and out. And now Georgia Tech will retain possession, but Georgia bench will celebrate early as this game is almost all but over. Reed McCall with a great save again after a side shot. McCall gets the stick on it, and all Georgia has to do now is hold the ball as the total clock is at 35 seconds and their shot clock's at 70. So all they have to do is hold the ball here, and they'll go home with a victory over the #2 men's lacrosse club in the country, the Georgia Tech Yellow Jackets. Your Georgia Bulldogs will turn it over here, actually. So Georgia Tech will get one more opportunity. But your Georgia Bulldogs will allow one more goal as the Yellow Jackets get a quick stretch pass and a goal. That will be number 42, Matthew Krasicki. That one won't really matter except in the stat sheet, as the Bulldogs will go home here with a win. Previously #7, you have to think after this victory they will be moving up as they tune up for nationals. We'll have one last face-off draw here. And you have to wonder where Georgia Tech will be now after they lose to their rivals in an old-fashioned game, a hate game. 10 seconds left on the clock. And we'll get a penalty here, as Georgia Tech will fall on the ball and get a penalty, and now they'll drown out the clock. They'll shoot. It will score with 0.7 seconds left. So storming back here late, but it's not going to really matter. It will be 19-15. I guess I started calling this game too early. The Yellow Jackets putting up a fight. Georgia not too happy that Georgia Tech is putting up goals here, as they frankly don't matter in anything but the stat sheet as this game is over. This face-off will end the game, though, as Georgia will rush the field and celebrate their victory in a top 10 matchup. The Dawgs come out with the victory. So the Dawgs, number 7, upset the number 2 Yellow Jackets in what was a great game. I have been your commentator, Joe Kopsho. I want to thank you all for watching, as we've had a great game here today, and hopefully we'll see you back next weekend as Georgia will play 2 games on the 7th and 8th. Thank you all for watching. We'll see you next time.